Okay, so a lot of people are thrilled by the announcement that we got from Nintendo Direct presentation a couple of days ago. We're finally going to get Super Mario RPG after all these years. It's been almost 30 years since that game came out back in '96 with the SNES. And honestly, it's definitely one of the most underrated Mario games of all time. Everybody has their own respective opinion on what the best, Mario RPG game is, but in a lot of people's minds, this is one that really stands out, probably because it was the original. And a lot of people feel like this game could have been more popular on the SNES if it came out a couple of years earlier than it did. And a lot of people feel like this game should have been saved for the N64 because when you look back at the N64, there wasn't hardly any high profile RPG games for that console during that time period. All the RPGs were on the PS1 console. But based on what we got in terms of like this remake, like everything is pretty much it's pretty much remastered. You have, high definition, visuals. You have like a remastered soundtrack. Like everything about this game looks like impressive. And I do feel like it's good that it took as long as it did for this remake to happen. Because I feel like if we gotten a remake for this game years earlier, like during the GameCube or the Wii era or what have you, um, it wouldn't have looked as polished as what we got with this right here. And honestly, Super Mario RPG, like one of the best things about it, along with the fact that it stands out because of it being an RPG, was the plot for the game. You had like a Mario game that had like a new main villain for like a change because back in the '90s, Bowser was commonly the main villain for the most part, at least as it related to the main series. Um, Super Mario RPG was like one of the first major spin-off games where you had another villain aside from Bowser. And this game, Smithy and his gang are like the main villains for this, and players to be able to control characters such as Mario, Bowser, Mallow, Gino, and even Princess to try and, I guess, stop Smithy and his gang after after they stole the seven star pieces at the beginning of the game, and basically you have to retrieve it throughout the game. And I think, for the most part, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars is a game that a lot of people never really got a chance to play back in the '90s or ever, because I don't think the game was ever ported or re-released or remade for any other game console outside of the SNES. And a lot of people thought that it would never happen, and they're shocked by its announcement because I believe this is something that I had been writing about on my blog for years now. And after a while, I was like, the hell with it. They're probably just not going to do it because they don't like to remake old games. But I'm glad that they actually, Nintendo actually decided to remake Super Mario RPG because I feel like it's something that casuals um, can definitely get into because everybody's familiar with Mario and Bowser and Princess and all that stuff. And a lot of people don't know about this game, about the story, about the gameplay, and about the fact that, Mario also stands out in the RPG genre as well. And you look at like all the RPGs within the Mario series that we've gotten over the years. This one stands out the most because it's like the original like RPG game that we got. And as far as like the best selling Mario RPG game is concerned, I think right now Origami King is probably like the top selling Mario RPG game out there because it reached over 3 million back in 2021. And I think the game came out back in 2020. It's probably one of the few good things that have come out of 2020 in general. But yeah, it's pretty cool that we're finally getting a remake of Super Mario RPG. And honestly, there's no better time to release the game than right before the holiday season because the game's supposed to be coming out in October of this year, I believe on the 20th. And I believe the game is listed for like 59.99, and I think that's a fair price for the Super Mario RPG remake, considering the fact that it was a rare game and it's something that a lot of people really didn't have access to because the cartridges are rare because I guess the game came out during a time period where the SNES was starting to become less popular. And I do feel that the remake of Super Mario RPGs is something that hardcore fans are going to love. It's something that's going to draw attention and probably, get casuals to look at in terms of seeing, how this game is and whether or not it's every bit as good as everyone said it was.